Tom and I'm from the wood shop. I'm the veneer specialist. And I'll quickly run through with you the actual process that we use to create these parts here in the wood shop. So it starts here as a pre-substrate, and this then goes through to a milling area where the parts actually get milled, and all the shapes are formed from the milling machine. And then it moves into the veneer application area where the feature veneer actually gets pressed onto these parts. When they actually are finished in this area, they come out like this. We remove the tape. This tape's to actually give the veneer extra strength, but it's not needed anymore, so we remove it. They then get trimmed up, and they get sent into a team of sanding guys who actually hand sand all of these parts. And then we move into the lacquer department, who actually apply this wonderful lacquer, and they start with a sealer to seal the wood, and also it protects it and it gives it a surface to lacquer to. Then there are 6 coats of lacquer that get sprayed onto the parts to accumulate to 1.2 millimeters thick. This then gets hand flattened to a very fine grit paper, and then this is actually to a point of fineness that it will actually polish up on a mop. So then the guys actually polish this up and we're finished with this.
And so the final product that we're looking at is here?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then can you tell us, what do we have over here on this table?
So this is just, this is what I actually do. So I create this book match, which runs down the centre of the Rolls-Royce, and it actually, all of the grain and the feature flows round the Rolls-Royce. So this is what I do, and I'm demonstrating a little bit of marquetry work, which is just to convey the sort of skills we've actually got in the wood shop.
Now, where are these applied to in the car? Where we see these, for instance?
This is purely for demonstration purpose.
Okay, gotcha.
They could be maybe applied to a picnic table or something. You know.
I was thinking, for instance, that it's kind of larger.
But that would obviously be all bespoke. So you can actually get your inlay to correspond with your mats as well. So throughout the whole of the car, we can actually spray the veneer the same colour as the leather and the paint itself.
Hi, my name is Mark Core, and my job responsibility within the Rolls-Royce brand is the coach line, which is this little piece of the car that sits on the exterior of your car. It is a specially formulated paint which is designed to sit on top of the clear coat. There's no protection to this, it sits on the top. What we found over the years is people tend to look with their fingers, with their hands rather than their finger. So you can actually feel it. So what you see is what you get. So the feel is there. Again, with Rolls-Royce, you can basically have whatever colour your heart desires. There is no limit to what we will do. We will create colour for you, so basically you can have whatever you wish. These are little designs that actually go on the outside of the Rolls-Royce as well. This is obviously the Chinese Year of the Dragon. Again, it is completely hand done. This one here was for the limited edition last year, the centenary edition of Phantom, of the Spirit of Ecstasy. So there was 100 of these. And this little one on the end, the snake, which is one of my favourites, is an actual customer request. He wanted a snake woven into the coachline itself. Just so that you get a slight demonstration of what I actually do, we will take one of these. We will load this. This is a special brush. This is a squirrel hair brush. It is a natural hair which I found forms probably the better line than a synthetic brush. So what you do with this is you will load your colour into the brush, so you have enough in here. This is just a thinning agent just to make sure that It's a consistency that I can work with. We've got a little stray hair there.
Naughty squirrel.
Yeah, he's been used once or twice, so he's a little, we got one coming out of there. So that gives you a demonstration of what I actually do.
And what's it like doing that over the entire length of a Phantom, for instance?
At the beginning, it was quite daunting. It was, I used to worry about who owned it, how much the car was worth, and things like this. Over the years, I've learned to ignore that fact, and a car is just another car to me now. After doing over 2,000 of these now, it is just another car to me.
Done on the spot, and examples of previous work. It's fantastic.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm a sewing machinist within the leather shop at Rolls-Royce Goodwood in England. This is just a small example of some of the leather that we have to showcase at Goodwood. This example here shows some of the small collection bespoke colours. And what you see on the table is just one of our gifts that we offer. Over here is our tannery process, which is done in a company that's based in Germany called Hiva. They're a small company owned by a father and son. And we start off as the wet blue stage. This stage of the leather, it's always kept wet, and it's because that makes it very transportable. We also take out any impurities of the leather, and we fill it with stabilizers using acid and alkaline components. From there, we move on to crust. And this is where we're quite particular with our colouring of the leather, because at this stage it actually goes through front and back, like you see here with the turquoise colour. It goes through right from the front to the very back. So any kind of scratch, any kind of mark, you would never see it. And then we move on to our base coat, and that is applied on top, and it's so that we can always see and feel the texture and the suppleness of the leather itself. It's quite important, that stage. And then one of the final stages would be natural grain, and that is what you would see within the Phantom family range. Always we can see the suppleness of the leather, all of its grains, sometimes its impurities, but that would never be in a Phantom car. And if we did want, for example, full grain, which would be seen in the Ghost collection, there is no difference between natural grain and leather grain leather, other than the fact that full grain has been dried in a tumble process for an additional 8 hours compared to the natural grain.
And this is the final result here?
This is one example of a final result. Yeah, that is called Antique. That has a two-tone effect added onto it. And what we have over here is just a small collection of our embroidery samples that we can do in Goodwood with our embroidery specialists in the Musterbau team. They're very creative. They can do any design, and they decide where the stitches should lay, in what order, and they use a computer software that links up to the 16-head embroidery machine.